Well, top of the afternoon to you, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you from Dr. Don's weather page in the Shepherd's Weather Center. It is coming up on 4 o'clock on your Wednesday afternoon, September 16, 2020, as we continue to watch what's left of Hurricane Sally move across south central and southeast Alabama, spreading heavy rainfall up into East Alabama. You're looking at a live shot from, well, quite honestly, my most favorite place on the face of this earth, Toomer's Corner in downtown Auburn, Alabama, looking at College Street, and as you can see, it is pouring in downtown Auburn, and what you see is what you get, and this is going to continue for many hours throughout at least the overnight and maybe into Thursday morning. Now, the good news for East Alabama, severe weather does not seem to be an issue for most of our primary coverage counties across East Alabama and West Georgia. Not so much the case back over in southern Georgia. Let's take you to the Southern Union State Community College live Doppler HD radar. We're going to talk about several things right here. And first of all, I know I'm a little bit early. I posted earlier that we would go at 4 p.m. Central, but we have some significant weather taking place in South Georgia that I wanted to show you what was going on. So if you're watching us this afternoon, please comment in the comment section and at least tell us where you're watching from so that we know that you are online. Let's start over here where we have several tornado warnings in effect now down in South Georgia, and at least one of these is confirmed, and we do have a tornado on the ground. Let me bring the radar current, and we'll stop it right there. And we have got a lot of stuff on the screen, so let me take some of it off so it's easier to see. And then we'll zoom in on the areas. Let me just take the radar off momentarily. That'll make it a little easier to see too. All right, so here are our warnings. We actually have 3 different tornado warnings in effect right now. Again, this is down in southern Georgia. Let me move the box over here, and I'll just read you this. This is a severe weather statement from the National Weather Service office at Tallahassee, Florida. A tornado warning remains in effect until 5:15 p.m. Eastern for southern Cook, northwestern Lowndes, and northeastern Brooks counties in southern Georgia. Again, that is in effect until 5:15, so we've got about another 20 minutes left on that tornado warning. At 4:47 p.m., a confirmed tornado was located near Hahira, or 9 miles northwest of Valdosta, moving to the north at 15 miles per hour. Again, that is confirmed. And so that tornado would be in this general area here, if you can see the circles I'm making there with the cursor on the screen. All right, so let's take a look at the second warning. This is issued by the National Weather Service office at Tallahassee as well. Tornado warning for Cook County in south central Georgia, east central Colquitt County in south central Georgia until 5 p.m. So that's about another 4 minutes. And they're probably going to go under another tornado warning too for that storm that's north of Hahira, moving to the north. At 4:30 this afternoon, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Adel, moving to the north at around 15 miles per hour. And then the last one is going to be a tornado warning for eastern Colquitt County in south central Georgia until 5:45 p.m. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 11 miles west of Adel, moving to the north at about 20 miles per hour. I'm just looking at some information from, and they are saying that they have had confirmed sightings of a funnel cloud on that storm just north of Hahira, but so far no reports of damage. And so that is good. we'll keep monitoring that. But again, that's down in South Georgia, right there along I-75, north of Valdosta, and maybe a little bit to the west of I-75 around Adel, and just north of Hahira. All right, so let me put the radar back on. We're going to zoom back out and show you our friend Sally. Sally finally made landfall early this morning around 5 a.m. Right there at Gulf Shores, Alabama, and then continued to move to the northeast and is now located about 85 miles west of Dothan, Alabama. Current maximum sustained winds are 60 miles per hour, and Sally is now moving to the northeast, just screaming now at 7 miles per hour. You know, she was wandering around out there in the Gulf at about 2 miles per hour for the past 24 hours. But now that Sally has made landfall, the forward motion has picked up considerably in terms of Sally, up to 7 miles per hour. So you see where the track is. Right now, we're down there in extreme southern Alabama, or like I said, about 60 miles west of Dothan. And so the track is going to continue off to the northeast. So let's zoom in and talk about the communities that are in the direct path of what's left of Sally. And you can see right there on the map, Andalusia, Brantley, Troy, maybe just south of Union Springs, Columbus, Georgia, Talbotton, Thomaston, Georgia, Barnesville, Georgia, Eatonton, crossing I-20 there between Greensboro and Thompson, and then crossing over into South Carolina there just north of Augusta, crossing over I-26 just north of Columbia. Then we think that she will continue on off to the northeast, on up into North Carolina as well. So what does this mean for East Alabama? After all, that's why most of you are here. First, let me say that the severe weather threat is now in South Georgia, right along I-75. You see all these feeder bands coming up off the Gulf of Mexico. This is where the most unstable air is located at this hour. Now, these folks down here have not had relentless rain the entire time. Now, they've got some very heavy rainstorms down there now. But this atmosphere down here in South Georgia is relatively unscathed. So that's why we're having these spin-up tornadoes, pop-up tornadoes down here, right on the extreme southeastern flank of the storm. And that's typical. That's normally what you see with a landfalling hurricane or tropical storm. The most severe weather is normally off to the east, a little bit southeast of the center of circulation. So if you're anywhere from Albany east in Georgia, you need to be on heightened alert. And this includes Jacksonville, Brunswick, Savannah, Hilton Head, Vidalia, Cochran, Jessup, Douglas. Later on tonight, maybe Macon, and then on up to probably the severe threat will stay just a little bit south of I-20 and probably to the east or right along and to the east of I-75. You folks in Macon, you can't rule out a possible tornado there a little later on this afternoon as well. And then that threat will shift on over into South Carolina as we go through the overnight hours into tomorrow. Now, as far as East Alabama is concerned, you certainly have the rain. Got in the heavy stuff started right after noon, which is what we predicted. And now the consistent, nonstop heavy rain is in the process of setting in. And it's, 4 o'clock, so that was dead on the money. This is what we were telling you yesterday afternoon. And this will continue for most of the night tonight. So what you see outside right now, if you're anywhere in Central Clay, Central Randolph, I know it's slacking up a little bit or has slacked up a little bit maybe in southern Randolph for the moment. But you look down there in Chambers, and you've got more heavy rain coming. I have noticed a trend, though, over the last couple of hours. We keep getting this pocket right there in southern Randolph and northern Chambers that just kind of it'll get heavy, and then it'll lighten up a bit. Then it'll get heavy again, and then it'll slack off. Whereas down in central and southern Chambers and most of Tallapoosa, and certainly down in Lee, it's just been nonstop deluge since shortly after lunch today. So for whatever reason, we're getting a little pocket right there in southern Randolph and northern Chambers that's kind of fluctuating between moderate to light rain. But that will probably fill in as we go through the next couple of hours. And so then it's just going to be a consistent moderate to heavy rainfall all night long. And I'm talking probably toward daybreak tomorrow before we start to see any significant weakening of the rain bands across East Alabama. Because, again, keep in mind, Sally is still way down here in South Alabama, just south of Andalusia, and she's only moving at 7 miles per hour. So she's got a long way to go, and even when she gets over here in West Georgia, she's still going to be spinning showers and thunderstorms back over East Alabama. So Sally is really going to have to get up here around I-20 in Georgia, north of Eatonton, south of Athens, near Augusta, before we start to see the rains pull away from East Alabama. Well, you can see that's a long way. So this is going to continue for multiple hours. Let's just run that right quick. Let's say she has to get up here around Augusta before we start to see the rain pull out of Alabama. That's 300 miles. All right. Pull out my Auburn calculator. All right, so we're looking at, oh, that's not right. Yeah, you know, if you do the math, it comes out to 42 hours. That's 2 days. This is Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take quite that long because forward speed should pick up. She's at 7 right now, probably go to more like 10, maybe 12 miles per hour during the overnight. But at any rate, you can see that, you know, you're looking at least 10 more hours, maybe 12 more hours of this rain across East Alabama and West Georgia, to kind of put things into perspective. But severe weather is not a threat. I mean, we can't completely rule it out, but it's not a major threat for East Alabama and West Georgia. Yeah, it's going to get a little gusty from time to time. You could see winds gusting 15, 20, 25 miles per hour, and maybe even occasionally you could get a gust up to 30 miles per hour, especially in the higher elevations of East Alabama. That would be up there on the ridge in Randolph, up there northeast, Randolph County from Potash Ridge north, Woodland, Graham, you folks up there, Gray Hill, you folks up there in the higher elevations of northeast Randolph could certainly see a little higher gust. The same would go for Clay County, especially up there along the Cleburne-Clay County line there at Mount Cheahaw. You could certainly see some heavier gusts there as well. Higher in elevation you go, the greater the chances are of seeing higher wind gusts. But overall, we're not looking at a setup like we saw with Hurricane Opal back in the 90s, where we had so much destruction across East Alabama and West Georgia. Nothing like that. We could see a few scattered power outages because of trees that have fallen primarily because of the saturated soils, but I don't think we're looking at widespread power outages across the entire area. So that's kind of what the setup is now. It's just going to be a ton of rain across East Alabama and West Georgia. The severe weather, I think, will be confined to South Georgia, eventually up into South Central and Southeast Georgia as the afternoon and evening moves along. So if you have, of course, now we are under a flash flood watch. Don't lose sight of that. Flash flood watch continues for all of our coverage counties through tomorrow. We do have a flood warning in effect for Randolph, Tallapoosa, Chambers, but that is because of the Tallapoosa River. It's a river flood warning. The river is expected to go into flood, but not to the point of where it starts to affect residential flooding. Mostly we're looking at pasture and low-lying areas down the Tallapoosa, and that probably won't happen until sometime tomorrow. Or it may even be Friday before the river actually goes into flood stage. Hello to Miss Cindy Baldwin Manuel. She is watching us at Potash Ridge. Martha Weber's in here from Wedowee. Chris Nelson. Chris was awfully ugly to me one time. Imagine that. I think I've told this story before. And I can't. This is a family program, so I can't use the same adjectives that he used. And so you kind of lose the significance of what happened because I can't really tell you what he said. But for those of you who hadn't heard it before, Auburn, Florida was playing in Auburn. And I actually wasn't planning on even going to the ball game. I went down to tailgate with him and the rest of that crew that used to hang out down there. And I ran across somebody that had some tickets, so purchased the tickets, went to the ball game. Auburn didn't have a prayer at beating Florida that year. But as miracles do happen at Jordan-Hare Stadium, we pulled it off. And walking back to the site where we were tailgating there, just south of the stadium, I mean, I was still 2 blocks away from where all of our vehicles were parked. And let's just say that Nelson started addressing me from afar. He was explaining a few things he would like to do. And I'll leave it at that. I'll never forget that. It was absolutely hilarious. I had not said a word. I mean, you know, a war eagle or two may have been blowing by, but they were not directed at him. And of course, everybody knows Chris is a Florida fan. So yeah, he was explaining his present, at the moment, feelings for for me and the rest of the 100,000 Auburn fans that were surrounding him. Good stuff, though. It was all in fun. We have a good time with that. Let's see here. Charles is watching us from Gaines, Georgia. Jimmy Scroggins watching us up in Hughley, Alabama. Pat Ray's watching us. Hey, Pat. Yeah, Elaine's talking about windows open and front door propped open with a can of Hormel chili. Screen door open. Got the candles and the cards ready. That's what I'm talking about. That is a Hurrahfall party. You know, we started calling this a Hurrahfall because it's so cool outside. So Miss Elaine is ready for the Hurrahfall party. Cindy's got us going on up at Potash Ridge. Let's see here. Anna Pike watching from Alexander City. Fran Hamby Cummings in Folsom. Regina Smith says it's definitely raining in Roanoke. Yes, it is. We'll go over the radar in a few moments, and I'll show you where the heavy rain, all the heavy rain is. Patricia Yurda is in Roanoke. Lisa is watching us in, well, she's asking about Roanoke. I'll get to that in just a few minutes. Of course, I just talked about what East Alabama and West Georgia can experience or expect to experience through the next 12 to 24 hours, and that's a ton of rain and gusty winds. I don't think we're looking at anything severe for East Alabama or West Georgia. Cheryl's telling us of a lot of damage on Highway 59 area in Robertsdale, Alabama. And I was looking at some of that earlier, and there is a tremendous amount of debris everywhere down there. But it's primarily what we told you last night we thought we were going to see when the sun came up this morning, and that is tree damage. Occasionally you'll see some siding blown off of buildings. There is some roof damage where the top layer of the roofs came off. There's some shingle damage. It's mostly facade damage and lots of debris in the roadways. Just about everywhere you go down there, and we're talking from Dauphin Island over to Fort Morgan to Gulf Shores, inland up to Foley and Robertsdale, and then over to Orange Beach, Perdido Key, Pensacola, Guthbreeze, all of these areas. Just a tremendous amount of shingles and siding blown off of homes and businesses, power outages, tree damage, of course, a lot of flooding around the waterways, and a lot of beach erosion along the beaches. But I haven't seen so far, I mean, there's a lot of boats that have washed up on the shore, a lot of capsized boats, boats that are turned over in the marinas. But I have not seen any buildings that are destroyed from wind. There's a lot of water damage, no question there. A lot of flooding, a lot of water damage. But Sally was at 105 miles per hour, which made her a Category 2 at landfall. That is right there where you draw the line in the sand between what we have seen and the next level, which would have been buildings collapsing, radio towers blowing over, that sort of thing. So, man, she got so close to that threshold, and I'm so glad that she stopped right where she was at, because another 5 to 10 mile per hour in wind strength, and we would have had even more damage than we already have. But yeah, a tremendous amount of facade damage on buildings down there. Lots of flooding damage as well. Some tree damage, lots of power outages, from what I have been able to gather from some of the video I'm seeing out of that area. Angie Johnson's watching us in Roanoke. Let's see here. Audrey Moore. David Huddleston is in Roopville, Georgia. I don't know where Roopville, Georgia is. Home of Keith Jackson. You young'uns don't know who that is. But I bet you if you're my age or a little younger, you know exactly who he is if you ever watched SEC football on ABC. There's Ricky talking about he's loving this rain. It is nice. Nice and cool and rainy up here in the mountains, too. There's Elrod McAllister, Mr. Kidney Stone himself. Elrod, did you give birth? If you did, what was how big was it? You know, we kind of got this contest going on amongst us emergency managers now to see who can give birth to the largest stone. I feel for you, my brother. I have been there multiple times, and that is, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy if I had one. That's some bad stuff. Marley Bradley is watching us in Wedowee. There's a certain way you have to say that. And there are certain ways you don't say Wedowee. Wedowee is not one of them. Dan Rather made that mistake one time. Cindy Smith is in Roanoke. Tiffany Poindexter is watching us. Virginia Laney is also in Wedowee. Whoa. I'm having trouble with my mouse here, but I just saw something that caught my eye. Missy Radfordy Strength. All right. You know I'm finna have to ask some questions. She's in Lynette, Alabama. Notice the similarity between her last name and my last name. Hey, Producer Tracy, what was that guy's name you dated? Lance? Okay. Lance Strength. Lynette Valley area. Missy, are you related? Let's see. Timothy Cochran is in Roanoke. Barbara Parker, Woodland, Alabama. Crystal's watching us in Roanoke. Tim Sykes is in Wedowee. Maurice got us going on over in Wetumpka, Alabama. Thank you, Maurice. He's our Central Alabama connection. Jan Turner in Woodland. There's Graham, Alabama. Hey, Ricky. I just came through Graham Sunday afternoon. There's Rock Mills. Thank you, Teresa. Mellow Valley. There's Dwayne. Benny Floyd is in Woodland, up on the hill. Karen Pearl is in Roanoke. Wedowee. Jane Overton. Pamela is in Opelika. And a lot of other folks watching us. So I saw Roll Tide in there. Let me back up, see who that was. Heckling me from afar. Joe Hughes. Well, all right, Joe. I'll take that. We play football not this weekend, but next weekend, right? I've been so busy. I don't even know when we start. I think it's next weekend. All right, I'm hearing some activity over here on the National Weather Service chat room. Let's see what they're talking about here. All right, this came out at 5:17. This is from the National Weather Service office at Tallahassee. Tallahassee has issued a tornado warning. It's radar indicated for Worth, Georgia, until 6 p.m. At 5:17 p.m. Eastern, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Sylvester, moving to the north at around 25 miles per hour. So let's visit that area again right quick, and then I'm going to zoom back in on East Alabama and show you what's going on there. I'm going to take the composite off just for a second because it makes it much easier to see. I know most of you are trying to watch on a tablet or a phone, and so the resolution's not nearly as good there as it would be if you go to Dr. Don's weather page on YouTube and subscribe to our channel and then throw YouTube up on your big screen TV. And you can watch us. You can have all 55 inches of Dr. Don's weather page up there on your big screen television. You can see it in high definition. Good stuff. All right, so here is tornado warning now for the Sylvester storm. And maybe Warwick moving forward. 5:17, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Sylvester, Georgia, moving to the north at around 25 miles per hour. This is radar indicated. All right, let's go. Hang on one second. I've got to get that. Turned off. All right, now the next stop is going to be down here near Moultrie, and this is a tornado warning for eastern Colquitt County in South Georgia until 5:45. About 15 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 11 miles west of Adele, moving to the north at about 20 miles per hour. So it's up here in the northern part of the county now. And then the last one, these are 3 active tornado warnings now for South Georgia. This is a tornado warning that remains in effect until 5:45 this afternoon for northeastern Thomas, northwestern Brooks, and southeastern Colquitt County. Again, about 10 minutes ago, a confirmed tornado was located about 15 miles south of Moultrie, moving north at 25 miles per hour. Yeah, and you'll notice that all of these warnings are, and you have a severe thunderstorm warning over here. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Eccles County in southeastern Georgia and central Clinch County in southeastern Georgia. Severe thunderstorm capable of severe weather was located near Needmore, or 12 miles west of Fargo, moving to the north at around 25 miles per hour. But notice all of these warnings are clumped up over here relatively close to one another. This is the southeastern side of what's left of Hurricane Sally, now Tropical Storm Sally. And these are classic feeder bands that's drawing moisture off the Gulf of Mexico down here, right along the Big Bend area of Florida. It's pulling that moisture up into the storm, and as it starts to make that curve to go back to the center of circulation, that's where you get convergence in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And as that storm starts to twist to turn back toward home base, if you will, that's where you start to get that rotation in those storms, and that's where the tornadoes will be most likely this evening. A tropical storm has to feed off of the warm waters of the ocean. That's its fuel. Without the warm moisture coming up from a body of water, a significant body of water, such as the ocean, then a tropical system cannot survive. So Sally is fighting for her life right now, and she's doing her best to continue to feed off the Gulf of Mexico, and this is how she does it. You see those fingers going out into the ocean. That's where the energy is coming from, going up, and then starts to make that turn to come back down to where Sally is living right this moment. And when that turn starts, when it curves back to the left, that's where you get the twisting of the storms, and that's where the tornadic activity will take place. And that's very obvious looking at this, because here are our tornado warnings right here, right in that curve, and then we have severe thunderstorm warning over here, which is also going to be in the curve. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see some warnings over here in the northern part of the Florida Peninsula. And as we go throughout the evening, though, once we lose the heating of the day, I think the severe part of this will calm down a little bit. But for the next couple of 2 or 3 hours, we probably will see a few more tornado warnings here along I-75 in South Georgia, back over to Lakeland, maybe Douglas, as far north as Cochran, Vidalia, and then maybe this evening around Jessup. And you folks over here on the coast, my second favorite place in the world. The first favorite place is the live cam shot we'll go back to in just a few moments. But down here around Darien, Brunswick, on up to Savannah, Tybee Island, you're looking at maybe later on this evening, because what's going to happen at some point, she's going to start pulling more moisture off the Atlantic as well. She already is some. I mean, you can see this stuff up here that's coming back through Augusta. That's coming off of the Atlantic and wrapping back around. So she's actually feeding off of the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. But the chance for severe weather, though it won't be very high, will certainly increase along the East Georgia coast as we go throughout the evening as well. Kathy says that she's got 13 pecan trees and her whole yard is a mess with limbs. Yeah, you probably have got a bunch of pecans on the ground, too. I know they're not quite ready, but... Brazelton, Georgia's in the house. Thank you, Richard. Kelly says, in Roanoke, quite quiet at the moment, just cloudy and a little wind. I can almost guarantee you the rain's coming back. I'll show you that in just a bit. Kenny Rollins is watching us this afternoon. Robin Bayless got us going on in the Big Springs community of East Randolph County. Thank you, Christy. I've been needing a War Eagle. Thank you. Dickard, Alabama in the house. Courtney Hill. Yeah, Mark, you had to bring that up, didn't you? There is another storm in the Gulf of Mexico. The one that I told you yesterday probably would not be an issue for the northern Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, well, can we take that back? It may actually end up being an issue. I'll show you that in just a few moments as well. Rachel's asking the question, when will this end? Well, Rachel, I'm assuming you're in East Alabama. And if so, you got about another 10 hours to go, maybe 12. Then the rain will start to subside, and the winds will still be a little breezy, probably through most of the day on Thursday. But the rain, for the most part, will be gone in the next 10 to 12 hours. Nevada in the house. Well, hello, Cheryl. Cheryl Boniface watching us in Gardendale, Nevada. Very nice to have you in the house. Las Vegas is one of my favorite spots, too. My daughter lived in 29 Palms, California for a couple of years. Visited that location. Drove all the way across the Mojave Desert in the middle of the night with no cell phone service. Nothing but me, producer Tracy, and roadrunners and jackrabbits for 4 hours. That was a spooky ride. We saw one light that entire trip, and that was a freight train that was coming parallel to the road that we were on. I don't think there's any electricity out there. I mean, it's just nothing. Tumbleweeds, jackrabbits, and roadrunners. All right. Yeah, Anna Cotney. And Anna, you bring up a very valid point. Anna says that she's in Wadley, and it looks stormy, but only some rain so far. That's right. The clouds look very ominous. Well, they're tropical. They're part of a tropical system. So it does look ominous outside. And it does look like we could have a severe thunderstorm at any moment. But that's the heavy rainfall. And you certainly could hear a clap of thunder from time to time. But the wind that you're experiencing is actually coming from the circulation of what's left of Sally. It's not thunderstorm wind. It's just this massive low-pressure system spinning in the upper levels of the atmosphere, moving across central Alabama, that's giving you all the wind. Again, I'm pretty confident that though a severe thunderstorm or two cannot be ruled out, don't lose sight of that, I'm pretty confident that we won't see any widespread severe weather across East Alabama throughout the entire duration of this storm. All right, let's go back up there to East Alabama. Hang on, let me check one thing right quick. Still seeing no reports of damage down in South Georgia. So that looks good. All right, now let's go up here to East Alabama. Let's zoom in, talk about what's taking place. And I told you when I started all this, over the last couple of 2 or 3 hours, I have noticed that we have a pocket. Let me turn the telestrator on so I can show you what I'm talking about here. You see this area that I'm drawing the circle around? That extends from about Alexander City over to just north of Lafayette, over to around LaGrange, and then back up into northern Hurd, back down to around Wedowee, back over to Lineville, Ashland, Sylacauga, then maybe back down to around Kellyton, and back to Alexander City. That area, for whatever reason, has been a pocket, there's been a pocket of dry air hanging out right there. You see just south of that white line, all those reds and oranges. That is copious rainfall. I mean, we're talking, you can't see your hand in front of your face. It is just coming down in sheets and buckets. And so these young ones don't think to check and see that their dad is doing a live stream before they call. That's my redhead there. Okay, now the phone doesn't want to cut off. Oh well, It'll quit in a minute. All right, so what I was saying is there seems to be a pocket of dry air hanging out right there inside that white area. The reds and the yellows and the oranges is just extremely heavy rainfall. And when that heavy rainfall moves up to about where I have that line drawn there on the bottom, it just kind of evaporates, and you just get lighter amounts of rainfall up there in northern Chambers, northern Tallapoosa, southern Clay, and across southern and central Randolph County. You have had some heavy rainfall, but right now you got a little lull going on. It'll be interesting to see if that fills in as we go throughout the night. If it doesn't, then you folks inside that circle that I just drew there on the screen will be spared. You're going to get decent rain, but it's not going to be flooding rain. Now you get down there in southern Chambers County. Let me take the telestrator off. You get down there in southern Chambers. South of Lafayette, back over to Lynette, down to Casita, back over to Waverly. You see those reds? That's where the heaviest rain is falling right this moment. And let me put it in motion. And you see that dry air filling back in as we go through the loop. But this is just extremely heavy rainfall down here. Get on down into Lee County. Heavy rain now at Auburn. I can verify that because I'm looking at it on the Toomer Corner camera. You get down here to Beauregard there at the football stadium. Heavy rain there. Smith Station. You got moderate rain at Smith Station down into Columbus. Up here in Harris County, up around Hamilton, you got some heavy rain. Pine Mountain is moderate. Then you get up into Troup County. You've got some light rain, maybe moderate in spots around LaGrange and Hogansville. Standing Rock, just light rain right now. Roanoke has just light rain in Wadley. And when I say light rain, some places you may not even be seeing it. It's so light. It just may be a drizzle. Daviston, light rain. New Site, Mountain Community, Mellow Valley just finished with a heavy round of rain, but it's back to light rain now. Same for Millerville. Malone, same way. Franklin has some moderate rain. Woodland sitting up there on the hill, just some light stuff right now, as well as Potash. Wedowee, you've got some moderate rain moving in from the south. It's moving up from the Malone area. Bucktown up here in Carroll County got some moderate rain, as well as Bowden. Hawk has got moderate rain. Folsom, Swag, Roopville, Carrollton, some heavier rain over on the west side of town up at Carrollton. Looking at Clay County, some moderate rain in Delta, Camel Springs, Lineville, Ashland sitting right there. And then Talladega, you got some really heavy rain falling now in Childersburg. From just southwest of Talladega down through Childersburg down to around Columbiana. You've got some heavy rain over there on Lay Lake. But here's the interesting thing. If you look up there around I-20, just light rain in Birmingham, Moody, Center Point, Anniston, Jacksonville, Bremen. And that's probably all those folks are going to see. There is a sharp cutoff. I mean, we go from torrential rainfall to basically nothing. You could get out and, sometimes when we have a little snow threat, how you can get out and draw the line where the snow stops and the rain starts. Well, that's kind of what we're looking at today. You can get out and draw a line across the road where the heavy rain ends and it goes to just a mist or nothing at all. Now, it's cloudy over here. It looks like it's going to pour at any moment, but they're not getting any rain over here. Tuscaloosa, it's just cloudy. Centerville Brent is just cloudy now. Still got some rain. The back edge of it. Stand by one. The back edge of this, is stretching from about Talladega down to Alabaster, to Centerville, down to around Marion, Uniontown, which is just west of Selma, down to about Camden, Monroeville. You've got one little bitty small shower to go through, and then you're going to be out of it. So all these folks over here on the western side of the storm, from Birmingham all the way to Mobile, just about completely out of the rain. And as Sally continues to move off to the north and northeast, this backside is also going to advance to the east-northeast. So this is the backside of all the rain, the westernmost side of Sally. As Sally continues to move in this direction, tonight, then all the backside of the rain is also going to pull off in the same direction. But she's only moving at 7 miles per hour. So this is going to take some time to get Sally through here. You know, it may very well take 10 hours for Sally to make the. It all depends. If Sally speeds up, then it won't take that long. If she stays at 7 miles per hour, it certainly could take 10 hours for her to get up here to I-20, because that's about where she's going to have to get before the backside of the rain shield makes it across East Alabama. It's not once she gets in Georgia, the rain just mysteriously disappears in Alabama. She's going to, once she clears Columbus, things will start to get better across East Alabama, but she's going to have to get at least up here to I-75 south of Atlanta, if not I-20 west of Augusta, before we get all of the rain out of East Alabama. And at 7 miles per hour, that's going to take a minute for her to get up there. How long would it take you to ride a bicycle from Andalusia, Alabama to Augusta, Georgia? Now you understand what I'm saying. That's about what we're looking at. So it's going to take a while. And I would horrible ride from Auburn to Montgomery. Right now, a horrible ride from Montgomery to Birmingham, but that will improve in the next couple of 2-3 hours. This ride from Montgomery to Atlanta is going to be just incredibly bad all night long, and not a place you want to be. If you had any thoughts why you would want to, number one, but if you had any thoughts of traveling to Atlanta on I-85 tonight, that's a no-go. I-185 also from LaGrange down to Columbus, bad ride, because what's left of Sally is most likely going to come right through Columbus, and that's going to cause tremendous amounts of rain. Take you back up to our live shot from Toomer's Corner in the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn, Alabama. And they are in, they're actually kind of in the orange now. They had some red move over Auburn just a few moments ago, and you could really see it too. And let me say this, when you're looking at rain on a television or on your phone, cameras don't typically pick up rain very well. When you can actually see the individual raindrops on a camera, it is 10 times worse in person. Trust me. So you can actually see the raindrops there at the shot that we're looking at. So it's coming down pretty good in downtown Auburn right now. And it's not so much the intensity of the rain, it's going to be the long duration that this is going to continue. That's where the problem's coming in. I got a few more War Eagles going in there. Oh, Pee-wee. Mr. Magnificent. Mr. Awesome. You're correct, Summer. He most likely will need some extra hairspray. If he's listening to me with all this War Eagle stuff, he most likely has rolled up that sleeve and he's looking at that tat on his shoulder in the mirror and talking about how awesome he is. I know him pretty well. Yeah, okay, so he is watching. I don't know, Pee-wee. Wait a minute now. Let me see. I think I need a more current picture of you, because if that one I'm looking at is awfully small, but it sure looks like I see a receding hairline going up there, and it looks like I also see some snow on that goatee. Yeah. Uh-huh. Some of that beauty might be fading. Okay, Cecilia says just a consistent sprinkle in Rock Mills. Yep, that's that dry pocket I was talking about that's right across southern Randolph County. Deborah's watching us in Calhoun County. Nice to have you with us. Pat Gosden, better roll them britches up. Yeah, Chambers, you got a lot of heavy rain, especially from Lafayette south. Down there around Camp Hill, back over to Oak Bowery, down there at Tiger Corner, or I call it Tiger Corner. I'm not sure what they call it now. Where you turn off of 431 to go back over to 280 there just north of Auburn. Really heavy rainfall right there. And all of that's going to rotate up to the north. So you should have moderate rain now if you're Lafayette south, but you've got some heavier rain coming up. And that process is going to continue all night long. Alan's talking about a little rain in Wedowee. And yeah, Wedowie's kind of in that dry slot also, but there is some heavier rain to your southwest, back down toward Malone, that should be coming up in your direction. Producer Tracy, you got a shout out. A little boy in Athens. He's got a real cute daughter. Yeah, John Boy. She said, "Thank you, Jonathan." Yeah, Chuck's talking about not much in Rock Mills. That's because you're in that dry slot I was showing just a few moments ago. But hang in there. That's going to change. Trust me. Pat's talking about steady rain in LaGrange and a little breezy at times. Hey, Summer. Appreciate you guys supporting us. Just got a new tornado warning for Worth County. That's in South Georgia. It's going to be for a possible tornado just southeast of Albany. It's going to take I get it the second they mash the button, so it takes a few seconds for the data to actually show up. Okay, actually this was a cancellation. This is a cancellation of the tornado warning that was in effect. So the National Weather Service has canceled that tornado warning for Worth County. That's why it's not showing up, because it went away. So that is a cancellation. That's good news. Angie says a drizzle in Malone. You should have just gone through some heavier rain. It should be north of you now. Athens, Georgia in the house. He's buttering you up now. Behind every great man, there's a great woman. Yeah, well, I'm not going to tell him that because he'll get the big head. Yeah, well, she said you were smart, Jonathan. I don't know about all that. Joe, let's see, what was it? What did Joe say? I'm having trouble. I'll tell you what we're going to do. No, we're not covering up Toomer's Corner. We're going to move this up here where I can see what the heck I'm looking at because I'm having trouble seeing it on my little bitty screen there. No, it's not going to work there. Let's go over here with it. Just until I get through looking at all the comments, then we'll... All right, well, why can't... I need some tech-savvy folks. All right, now then. Yeah, I'm not even going to reply to that one. Let's see here. Why will my up and down arrow not move my chat box? That's what the problem is. I'm having to do it with my mouse, and that's why it's jumping around so much. All right, John boy, I got to get that fixed. Let's get back. I got to see what Pee Wee said here. There's no other like Pee Wee Terry. That is the truth. Amen, Kelly Wesson. Hey, Marie. Oh, that's wisdom on the beard, not snow. I see. Well, if that's true, then I guess I'm a pretty smart individual because I got lots of wisdom. I'm getting more and more wisdom every single day. Well, happy birthday, Joey Knight. I talked to Joey last night. He's in Panama City, and he was kind of keeping me updated on the weather situation down there last night. As a matter of fact, I talked to him this morning, and he said he kind of lost count, but he thinks they had like 11 tornado warnings down there around Bay County last night during the evening. And that's probably right because I've got Panama City set up in my phone, and it was just going off all night long. But thankfully, I haven't heard of any damage down there. And Joey was doing good this morning, sending me pictures of the Gulf Coast, and I really value my relationship with him. Great guy, does some good stuff. Janice is saying that some pretty heavy rain taking place up on the hill in Woodland. Joe, that's the ugliest corner I've ever seen. Hey, I'm really surprised Pee Wee hadn't said something about that. Janelle says it's not raining at her house. Hang in there, Miss Janelle. It's coming. Well, I did cover it up just a little bit, Pee Wee, but I'm about to take it back down. Hey, Marie. Thank you, Summer. I value you guys, too. You guys are great supporters of Dr. Don's weather page, and we appreciate everything that y'all do to help us out as well. You especially. Summer is really good about jumping in and asking folks to support what we're doing, and I appreciate that because it does mean a lot. All this stuff that we're doing, you know I love doing it, and that's where my heart's at, but there is cost associated with it. Get off there. And so anything you can do to support us, we greatly do appreciate it. I'll show you where to go in just a few moments if you'd like to support us. But on top of every one of our videos that we put out there, there's a link where you can support Dr. Don's weather page, and all you got to do is click on it, and that'll take you over to PayPal, which is secure. It only takes a few seconds to support us, and there it is. All you got to do is click on that, and whatever you can do, we appreciate you. We thank you for doing that. That helps us continue to be able to do this, and it helps us be able to give you, from a technical standpoint, the same tools that the major markets use in Birmingham and Atlanta, such as this live Doppler weather radar. Same type of technology that you see in Birmingham and Atlanta and Columbus. I may not be nearly as smart as some of those meteorologists in those markets, but I love me some East Alabama and West Georgia. So as long as the good Lord's willing and I have the tools and the means to do it with, I'm going to be here with you anytime we have threatening weather across the area. All this kind of got started. April was a year ago when we had somewhat of a surprise tornado move through Wedowee. I certainly have been posting for years prior to that on Facebook, but never really considered going live until that happened. And it worked out well. We had over 17,000 viewers that night. And each time we go live, our numbers are just through the roof. And as you've seen already this afternoon, we have folks from all over the world that watch us. It's kind of neat. It's almost like being a ham radio operator. It's kind of neat to see where all the different folks are that have zero ties with East Alabama or West Georgia. We did some stuff last night. We had folks watching us all over the United States. We've had folks from England, Africa, New York City. We got a lady that was in here earlier from Nevada. And that's just cool stuff. We appreciate it. And we appreciate your support. Anything you could possibly do to help us, we ask you to please do so. Thank you, Sharon. That's kind words, and I appreciate that. All right, so what we're going to do now, folks, I'm going to take it to the top of the hour until 5 o'clock Central, and then I'm going to go away for a little while. We'll come back from time to time and do some live updates as we go throughout the evening. No major problems to report right now. Notice the wind down there in Auburn, though. Look at that. The wind's really picking up down there. You see the sign blowing around over there on the corner. Trees. I don't know that riding a bicycle and all this is the best idea, but a little breezy down there. So, yeah, you can expect gusty winds of 25 to 35 miles per hour. And if you're in a higher location, such as Woodland, such as north of Lineville, you could occasionally get a gust up to 40 miles per hour. But the big story here is going to be the relentless rain. Maybe not even so much how intense it is, but the fact that it's just going to rain for multiple hours. There is a pocket there in Randolph, central and southern Randolph, northern Chambers, southern Clay, and northern Tallapoosa that for whatever reason has stayed drier than anybody else this afternoon. Even you folks up in the northern part of Randolph and northern Clay, I think, has picked up more rain than what we've seen in the southern part of Randolph and northern Chambers. But that will most likely fill in as we go throughout the afternoon. And as Sally continues to move off to the north, looks like the rain band is now clearing Andalusia. So when we started all of this about, I don't know, an hour or so ago, the rain band was still south of Andalusia. Now it has cleared Andalusia. So that's an indication to me that Sally's forward motion may be increasing. And that's good. That's what we want. The faster she starts moving, the quicker we're going to get through the rain. So we'd like to see her go from 7 miles per hour up to around 12 to 15 miles per hour. Then we'll be able to put this thing to bed by midnight tonight. And that's possible. That could happen. We're just going to kind of watch it as we go and see. But there is also, I try to look at a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. So the best case scenario for East Alabama and West Georgia, she picks up forward speed up to around, 10 to 15 miles per hour, and she's out of here by midnight tonight. The worst case scenario, she hangs on at about 7 miles per hour or actually slows down, and it takes 12 to 15 hours to get the rain out of here. Obviously, the worst case scenario would cause a tremendous amount of flooding across the area, and that's what we don't want. So right now she's moving at about 7 miles per hour. She's somewhere around 50 to 60 miles west, maybe a little bit north of due west of Dothan, Alabama, or right over Andalusia, Alabama, moving to the northeast at 7. On the present track, she'll go right over Troy, Alabama, Columbus, Georgia, and then to a point just south of Hampton, Georgia, which is just south of Atlanta, and then turn more to the northeast, or more east-northeast, and move right over Edenton, cross over I-20 there between just north of Augusta, or just west of Augusta, and then move north of Augusta on her way into South Carolina. Any severe weather that we see, any severe weather that we have seen so far today has been down here in South Georgia. We have had multiple tornado warnings down here around Albany, back over toward Valdosta, and then a few severe thunderstorm warnings there just south of Waycross. And if we see any more, right this moment, we don't have anything other than a severe thunderstorm warning just south of Waycross. If we get any more tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings, they most likely will be over in this area. This is the far northeast quadrant of the storm. She's tilted to the northeast, so that sounds strange, but it's still considered the east-northeast quadrant of the storm, right over here in South Georgia and North Florida. That's where your severe weather threat is at its greatest. And I think that threat will continue even over here to the coastal counties of East Georgia, and maybe even as far south as Jacksonville, up to St. Mary's, Brunswick, St. Simons, Tybee Island, Savannah, and maybe even up there around Hilton Head. Because what's going to happen now, she's still feeding off the Gulf of Mexico. She's also tapping into the Atlantic, and the further north and east that she goes, she's going to start pulling all of her moisture. All of the energy will be coming out of the Atlantic, so that's going to increase the rainfall rates and the severe threat over here on the eastern side of the state of Georgia. The good news is the timing. We're about to lose the heating of the day, and that will certainly help calm some of these storms down as we get into the darkness of the night. So we're hoping that maybe that'll keep the severe weather at bay. Then tomorrow morning when the sun comes up, we get into tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have to watch for severe weather up there along the South Carolina and North Carolina coast. And there's a possibility she gets back out into the Atlantic and carries on for several more days. Had a question earlier about another storm in the Gulf of Mexico. And started babbling. I never did answer that question. So let me do that right quick before we end this particular segment. Take just a second to get to it. All right, that's it right there. It's Invest 90. Invest 90L, is that right? Yeah. Get a better shot of it. Let's go back to that one. Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for right there. All right, let me take you back up to the internet computer. And there it is. This is Invest 90L. At about 8 o'clock last night, Invest 90L had about a 20% chance of developing. Let's see where she's at right now. Just look at everything, then I'll go back and show you what the projected track is. All right, so here is Sally moving through South Alabama. Let's see if there's any updates there. As of 4 p.m. Central, 60 mile per hour winds, moving to the northeast at 6 knots, which is about 7 miles per hour. So no changes from what I was telling you earlier. But this is the next area of concern. This is disturbance number 1. Now a 70% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days. Showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad area of low pressure over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico gradually continue to become better organized. Upper level winds are forecast to gradually become more conducive for further development, and a tropical depression is likely to form this week or over the weekend, while the low meanders over the southern Gulf of Mexico for the next several days. So formation chances through the next 48 hours is medium at 50%, and then formation chances through 5 days rather high at 70%. So we'll go look at some ship guidance on that in just a few moments. We also have Paulette sitting up here in the northern Atlantic, and Paulette about 85 miles per hour, sustained winds. Movement is off to the east-northeast at 30 knots or 35 miles per hour. Stand by one. Okay, that's just an adjustment on the tornado watch down in South Georgia, northwest Florida. And Paulette has been sending waves all the way back to the eastern seaboard and has caused some flooding problems from Charleston, South Carolina, all the way up the Atlantic seaboard. Been pretty amazing for her to be that far away, and actually has caused some problems with flooding. Then we have disturbance number 3, only about a 20% chance of forming, and this is way, way out there. That should not be a problem for the United States. Then we got Teddy. Teddy is a hurricane now. That's just been upgraded. So now we have Hurricane Teddy. Winds sustained at 100 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure is 973 millibars. If you're tracking it, located at 17.5 north or 50.8 west, movement is northwest at 11 knots or 13 miles per hour. So Teddy is moving in this general direction. And we'll go look at the ship's guidance on this one again in a few minutes, but I think they're predicting this one to kind of turn back up and take a similar Paulette track. But we'll look at that in just a bit. Then we also have Vicky. Vicky is a tropical storm, maximum sustained winds around 40 miles per hour, and Vicky is moving to the west at 8 knots or 9 miles per hour. Now, Vicky also is moving due west, which is back in this general direction, and we don't have any long-range guidance on Vicky just yet, so we're not sure exactly where she's going to go. Then we have another area of interest. This is disturbance number 2, which now also has a 70% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days. And this one is moving off to the west as well. So right now, our most immediate threat after we finish with Sally will be disturbance number 1. And then the next danger would be Hurricane Teddy. Teddy is a low trajectory coming across the Atlantic down here. So at that low of an angle, he might actually slip up into the Bay of Campeche, and that's where some of our bigger hurricanes come from. So we'll have to watch him. Vicky is an outlier, but it could be an issue in a week or so. And then whatever forms down here, if it does, would also be something we're going to have to watch real close. All right, so let's go back. Now, this is the disturbance number 1 down in the southwest Gulf of Mexico. And this is ship's guidance, okay? This is not anything official from the National Hurricane Center just yet. But this is just some preliminary information on what some of the models is thinking on where this is going to go. And you see there's a lot of noise down here. There's several models that just has it wandering around down here in the southwest Gulf of Mexico, maybe close to the Texas coast, and then doing a loopity-loop and coming back around. And that's real noisy right now. But we are beginning to see a little bit of clarity among the models in that we do have a group of models that are pretty much lined up pretty well with one another. And they're all pointing it up to the northeast. Maybe Louisiana. Maybe brushing Louisiana and coming in at southern Mississippi. Maybe Biloxi. And and then right across southwest Alabama, through central Alabama, through east Alabama, and right over my house, right up here. Now, this is all far-fetched, and this is certainly not something that's official at this point. This is stuff that amateurs like myself like to look at to kind of get a general idea of what may be around the corner down that dirt road, down that country dirt road. And that's what we're looking at here. So, someone asked the question. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but the question was asked if we had another storm out there to be concerned about. And the short answer is no at this point, but the long answer is yes, there is something else out there, and we'll just have to keep an eye on it as we go throughout the next several days to see if it develops. You know, Sally popped up relatively quick. We knew that we had a wave down there, but she went from wave to tropical development just about overnight. And then we thought, well, she's going to stay tropical storm. She went to Cat 2 before she made landfall. So if you don't learn or take away anything else from Hurricane Sally, hurricanes can and often do exactly what they want to do, regardless of what we think is going to happen. Let's see here. I see where producer Tracy is replying to something that Miss Judy Aubrey said. Let me go back over and see if I can find that right quick before we get out of here. Well, thank you, Miss Judy. We appreciate you. I mean, we appreciate your support. Judy's one of our supporters with Shepherd's Fine Jewelry and Gifts in downtown Roanoke, and we couldn't do this without you, Miss Judy, so you're just as big a part of this as anybody else, and that goes for all of my other supporters that are in here with us this afternoon. Summer and Uncle Joe, we appreciate all of you guys because, like I just said, you're just as big a part of this as me or producer Tracy or anybody else that has anything to do with this, because without it, we could not do this, so we thank you. Y'all say thank you, Miss Judy. And every chance you get, you go in Shepherd's Fine Jewelry and Gifts in downtown Roanoke, and that's how you can thank her. Get you some fine jewelry. When your heater goes out this summer, call Summer's better half, Superior Heating and Air. Get that heat fixed. Hopefully you won't need your air conditioner much more. Need your roof repaired, call Joey Knight at Anchor Roofing. Or go down there to Phoenix City and enjoy that Auction 431 South, which just happened to pop up on the screen. That's magic, isn't it? And everybody you see scrolling up there at the top of the screen, every last one of them, they all make this happen. And for those of you that are not familiar with me or wondering what the heck's going on here, I spent 22 years in broadcast radio in East Alabama and West Georgia. So that's why all these people know me. They followed me for years doing weather, and with modern technology the way it is now, heck, we could do this from Mars. I don't want to test that theory, but we could. We could do it. Made in the South. That's brand new too. That's a maid service. Part of Southeast Soft Wash. Southeast Soft Wash will get you cleaned up on the outside. Made in the South will get you cleaned up on the inside. So give them a holler while you at it. Okay, folks, I'm going to wind it up for now. I'm going to go take a look at some more data. Let's see. Okay, I was just checking to see what that was. Chance is good about posting stuff. If I'm talking and yakking, sometimes stuff gets by me, and he's good about posting any watches or warnings that come out while we are live. And that he just reposted the flash flood watch for East Alabama with the counties listed. Thank you, Chance. I appreciate you doing that, buddy. And again, folks, the flood warning that's in effect for Randolph, Tallapoosa, and Chambers, that's for the Tallapoosa River. And we're not expected to go into flood stage probably until tomorrow. It may even be Friday before we hit flood stage. And we're only looking at low-lying pasture land right now. Shouldn't be any drastic flooding. Yeah, if you remember the year the river got up to the bottom of the bridge at Wadley, we're not talking about anything like that. All right, so I'm going to step aside for a little while, look at some data, and take a quick break. And let's see, what time is it here? We're looking at 5:12 Central. Let's call it, unless something drastic changes, let's call it 8 o'clock Central. 8 o'clock Central. I'll be back with another live update. We'll take the radar apart, and we'll take a look at it, go down street level, look at where the rain is falling. Maybe I can get some rainfall estimates between now and then. If you have a rain gauge, how about sending me a message on Messenger and let me know how much rain you have received so far. Now, I know you folks in Randolph, most of Randolph, in Northern Chambers, Southern Clay, Northern Tallapoosa, really haven't received that much rain yet. What I'm talking about down there in Southern Chambers, Southern Tallapoosa, over into Coosa, maybe down into Lee County, and even, any of our West Georgia counties that have received a good bit of rain, and that'd be pretty much down there in Harris County. And if you have a rain gauge, how about sending me a message on Messenger and let me know how much you've received, and then update me about 7:45 Central. So I'll have those numbers when we come back on. If you have a rain gauge or a weather station anywhere in East Alabama or West Georgia, and if that data is available online, please contact me and let me know. Send me the link to that data. I'll give you a shout out if you want me to. If you don't, I won't say a word. But I would love to have a few live weather stations across East Alabama and West Georgia with live data that we can go take a look at. And if you happen to have a live camera anywhere across East Alabama or West Georgia that you don't mind me accessing, send me that link. And if it's okay to rebroadcast it, let me know. If you don't want me to rebroadcast it, I will respect that. I'll just use it so I can look and see what's going on. But if you don't have problems with us rebroadcasting it, let me know, and we'll share it here on Dr. Don's weather page. I'll see you back in here at 8 o'clock. Don't forget to go over to paypal.me/drdonwx.com to support our efforts. And we'll see you back here with the latest on now Tropical Storm Sally. She moves across South Alabama on Dr. Don's weather page.